Multi-vector integration is Kazakhstan's chosen course of development, and the program, Single Market.
Every problem, every challenge can be regarded as an opportunity for transitioning to a new level of development. Even the word crisis, which has a negative connotation, loosely translates from Greek as a testing time, signifying a breaking point of a situation or event. This is the theme of our today's program. Hello, my name is Pavel Koktashev. In today's episode, Eurasian Economic Union Single Market for Services, rules of the game during the transition period. Armenia, status of the business environment, friendly. A report from Erevan. Challenges to growth, the experience of a Kazakhstani enterprise. The market for services in the Eurasian Economic Union, just like in any economic association, is quite wide. It encompasses various sectors and segments: services in agriculture and forestry, construction, trade and tourism, and in the spheres of energy and transport. Within the given context of a single market, the market for services is under the close watch of the Eurasian Economic Commission. Formation of a single market for services is one of the conditions of economic integration. This process within the Eurasian Economic Union bears importance for a number of reasons. The main one is that the share of this market in the gross domestic products of the countries of the Eurasian Economic Union is more than 50%. What's more, experts note the expansion tendency of the sector. This is happening due to the introduction of new types of services and increases in volumes. Today, the single market for services includes 43 sectors that are subject to the condition of the step-by-step introduction of a free trade regime and gradual removal of limitations and barriers.
Это неизбежная стадия формирования общего пространства в силу серьезных расхождений в исходных.
This is an inevitable stage of the formation of a common space due to wide discrepancies in the initial and subsequent positions of the participating countries. The list of such limitations and barriers is getting shorter, especially in the recent times. Nevertheless, some problems remain.
Тем не менее, проблемы остаются.
That is why, in order to reduce costs and risks that may arise on this market, the Eurasian Economic Union members countries agreed on the introduction of a differentiated approach. The market for services is divided into three so-called baskets. The first includes services to which the principle of mutual license recognition automatically applies. In the second basket are types of services for which a transition period is envisioned. Each country decides on its own to which type of services the regime of a transition period applies. For example, Kazakhstan has identified for itself a number of spheres which require more time to be ready. Services such as construction, engineering, those that are more vulnerable. Kazakhstan decided to allocate some more time for them. The third basket includes so-called horizontal services. This entails strategic sectors and cases when issues of national security are in question.
Четко написано, вот здесь мы видим преимущество от интеграции, вот здесь мы будем...
Everywhere it is clearly stated. Here we see an advantage in integration. Here, for now, we'll try to realize our own programs. Everything that concerns harmonization of the rules of the game on the market, this is axiomatic. That is why it is necessary to learn to set priorities.
Это аксиома, поэтому надо научиться делать приоритеты.
Today, among such priorities are relief of service providers from duplicate establishment as a legal person, mutual recognition of decisions, licenses, and qualifications. By the way, limits on hiring of personnel across the territories of the Eurasian Economic Union countries are minimal. They are implemented only in specific sectors and concern specific job positions.
Главного редактора средств массовой информации.
For example, the chief editor of mass media organizations. There are certain limitations with regard to the citizenship of the person in question. The same in the case of a position of a forensics expert or in the sphere of nuclear energy. Experts believe that coordination of the functioning of a single market for transport services greatly depends on the development of entrepreneurship. Precisely this market is capable of generating a multiplier effect for businesses across the Eurasian Economic Union. Any enterprise that is interconnected in some way, in terms of raw materials or labor force, and of course depending on the length of the period required for delivering the product to the end consumer on the domestic and foreign markets, as this includes China and the European Union, countries of Asia, whether this is Iran, Vietnam or Egypt. A lot depends on the shipment periods. There is a significant number of problems that need to be resolved for the liberalization of the market for transport services. For example, questions regarding automobile transportation, and there are still barriers in the sphere of cargo transit. At the Eurasian Economic Commission, it is believed that the removal of these white spots is a matter of time. The notorious transition period is a tough, but at the same time objective reality, which inevitably accompanies every process of integration. The agreement of the Eurasian Economic Union includes a number of lengthy passages, one way or another addressing the functioning of the single market for services. That is why when we say single market for services, we mean common understanding of the integration process, and vice versa. Elena Polyakova, Denis Fokin, Moscow, exclusively for single market.
По легкости ведения бизнеса в Евразийском экономическом союзе у Армении лучшие показатели.
In terms of the ease of doing business, Armenia is ahead of all the countries of the Eurasian Economic Union. In the World Bank Doing Business 2015 rating, Armenia was ranked 45th. By the way, Belarus is in 57th position, Russia 62nd, Kazakhstan 77th, and Kyrgyzstan 102nd. Our correspondent from Erevan, Elena Kazaryan, brings us the report on the business environment in Armenia.
Корреспондента Элины Казарян.
Improvement of the business climate is one of the priorities of Armenia's state program. This process is constantly ongoing. Today, the process of registration of enterprises is significantly simplified in the country. A one-window principle is in place, and an electronic system was introduced. At the same time, the minimal core capital requirement and the mandatory stamp requirement were scrapped, and the registration itself is now free of charge.
A
goal was set to create a business environment that requires the least amount of expenses and has simplified procedures. We have realized numerous reforms in 10 spheres that cover the entire period, starting from the formation of an enterprise to its liquidation. The list of these reforms includes state registration of rights to property. The government has approved standard forms for transactions, which do not require notary certification and which can be completed right at the office of the registry. In addition, accelerated registration periods have been introduced. For example, if now the registration of right to property costs 25,000 Armenian drams, then with the additional payment, the registration period can be shortened to 1 or 2 days instead of 3. Substantial progress was noted in the sphere of taxation. Here, a significant role was played by the introduction and proliferation of the system of electronic payments. By the end of this year, there are plans to switch completely to an electronic system of obtaining construction permits. From now on, no more paper documentation. Citizens will be able to track the entire process online, which will significantly reduce corruption risks, and the system itself will be one of a kind across the entire post-Soviet space. The one-window principle until 2017 will be functioning also in the sphere of trade and will include all organizations that provide services at border checkpoints. According to state officials, the system will facilitate the reduction of the period of administrative procedures concerning exports and imports. Foreign entrepreneurs, when opening their subsidiaries or production sites here, can take advantage of the same opportunities as Armenian entrepreneurs. In the sphere of investment, the government of Armenia is realizing an open-door policy.
Есть свободное право собственности для иностранных инвесторов, юридических лиц.
There is the free right to property for foreign investors and legal persons. Therefore, they can buy land in Armenia and, of course, everything that pertains to land property. Under a concessional agreement, they can use natural resources, there is an unimpeded right to repatriation of capital and free currency exchange.
Свободная репатриация капитала, свободный обмен валюты.
However, despite the progress, Armenia still has a number of issues to resolve. According to experts, a lot of work needs to be done in the judiciary sector in order to improve the business climate.
Суды непрозрачны.
The courts are not transparent. It is hard to achieve justice, and if everything is done fairly, they are so ineffective that one decision may take 45 years to be reached. And for business, this is a very long period. The other problems concern the sphere of legislation. At the moment, getting to know all the laws and acts takes a very long time, but soon this problem will be a thing of the past. In order to optimize this process, the country has begun the realization of the so-called regulatory guillotine. Overall, the gradual pace of reforms in Armenia continues. That is why, according to officials, the 45th ranking in the Doing Business rating is not the limit for the country. In the Perspective program, it is provisioned that in the ranking of ease of conducting business, Armenia should be among top 20 countries of the world. And this means that the business environment will only become even more favorable. Elina Kazaryan, Tigran Galstyan, Gurgen Vardanyan, exclusively for Single Market from Armenia.
Павлодарский трубопрокатный завод KSP Steel.
The Pavlodar metallurgy plant, KSP Steel, was the first among two whirling enterprises not only in Kazakhstan, but also in Central Asia, to mark their products with the API monogram of the American Petroleum Institute. Today, the products of this enterprise are enjoying demand abroad. Our special correspondent, Zulfiya Timirgaliyeva, brings us the story on the prospects and challenges of this metallurgy plant. The Pavlodar plant, KSP Steel, specializes in the production of metal castings, steel tubes and armatures. This is one of the most technologically advanced enterprises in the metallurgy industry. Aside from compliance with the state standard requirements, the products of this enterprise have received the API standard certificate of the American Petroleum Institute. One of the future architectural masterpieces of Astana, the multifunctional complex Abu Dhabi Plaza, the project for which was developed by Norman Foster, uses the armatures of this Pavlodar plant.
Все наши поставки, каждые 100 тонн проходят проверку.
All our products, each one undergoes testing at laboratories here in Astana. And we have not received a single complaint from representatives of the Abu Dhabi Plaza regarding our products.
Арматуре.
Among the two whirling enterprises of the country, only the products of this plant passed quality control.
После того, как стало достоянием гласности тот факт,
After it became publicly known that our armatures were the only ones that passed the test for use in the construction of Abu Dhabi Plaza, we have received a great number of orders. But everyone wants the same prices that are offered by Russian companies.
российских компаний.
This is precisely the stumbling block that is today posing a problem for the Kazakhstani enterprise. Because of the ruble's devaluation, Russian products have become much cheaper, and some Kazakhstani companies, including national ones, as for example JAC national company Astana Expo 2017, have made their choice in their favor.
Подписали килограмм всяких бумаг.
They probably signed a whole load of papers, but did not get any products, although these are state construction projects, and their budgets were approved long before the devaluation of the Russian ruble, when prices were higher by $300.
Когда цены были на $300 дороже.
What's more, the quality of Russian armatures does not withstand neither criticism nor the weight load. This evaluation can be given considering the collapse of the bridge in Almaty and laboratory tests that were conducted by specialists of the Pavlodar enterprise. Products that we analyzed, they are not up to par neither in terms of chemical composition nor mechanical properties. Their armatures break down during wintertime in Astana like glass under temperatures of -20 degrees. Pavlodar producers want more transparency and objectivity in questions concerning state procurement. Within the context of expansion of this market, which is taking place within the Eurasian economic space, this is especially relevant. In this respect, we're working together with the National Chamber of Entrepreneurs in order to protect Kazakhstan's market from cheap and low-quality products. The country's National Chamber of Entrepreneurs, in reaction to the numerous complaints of Kazakhstani producers, has prepared a request to the national company, Astana Expo 2017, to present data on construction objects which can use national products. In addition, the Chamber is planning to initiate the right to appeal, which can be used in case state procurement procedures violate rules. During the consideration of the appeal, all procurement procedures have to be halted for a specific period of time, until the matter is resolved. Competition is still the main engine of progress. In order to ensure that the truly best players remain on the market, it has to be healthy. And within the context of integration, such competition should only be welcomed in order to motivate producers that play by the rules. Zulfiya Timirgaliyeva, Askar Aitkenov, Pavlodar, Astana, exclusively for Single Market.
На сегодня это все. С вами был...
That's all for today. My name is Pavel Kovtashev. Kind reminder, all our episodes are available on www.kazakh-tv.kz. Until next time on Single Market, a territory without borders.